What is going on, Fleet Nation? Welcome to episode 42. Welcome back. And I'm Brennan.
And I'm Jared. Welcome back, everyone. It's a big hiatus, but hopefully we get this back on the grind again. I'm excited. I know Brandon's excited. He's wearing the FlyZone sweatshirt right now. Represent. I'm repping my boy Daniel Jones for some reason. There was a sale at Fanatics, and maybe that's why there's a sale on his shirt because he might be gone soon. But that's for a different time, different episode. But NFL last week was crazy. And I hit up my boy Brendan. I was like, Tuesday, let's record. We have to record it because last week was something. I mean, Brendan, there's so much. The Jets beat the Bucks. The Giants got washed by the Bears, but also Antonio Brown. So many teams clinching the playoffs, like the Eagles. Shout out my boy Ricardo for that. But it's just crazy week.
I think we should just jump right into it. So
Yeah.
to start off, Jets, Bucks. I mean, how surprised were you to see this Jets team, Zach Wilson led, to go toe-to-toe with the best ever
Yeah,
do it, the defending Super Bowl champs?
It was pretty impressive. No one expected, them to have the chance to win the game nonetheless. Brady coming back in the fourth quarter. And I think ever since Wilson came back from his injury, we've seen a really different ball player. And this is the type of the Jets we expected going into the season, a competitive team that hasn't been there. But these last couple of weeks, they've been competitive. That game against the Jaguars was great. And the Bucks, they're just, they're a little banged up, a lot of injuries to go around. And they got a little exposed a little bit in their holes. So I think the teams in the NFC, who they're going to see in the playoffs, are going to, look at that film against the Jets, look at the film against the Saints, and try to expose the Bucks offense.
Zach Wilson went 234 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. He won the interception, the turnover battle with the GOAT. He won that 89.7 rating. I mean, this is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, ladies and gentlemen, one of the top defensive lines in football, the same defensive squad that bullied Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. And our young buck, Zach Wilson, second overall pick from BYU, is playing better. Now, to just basically spiral off of your point there, since he came back from the injury. Now let's look at how he's been performing since the injury. He has not thrown an interception in 4 games now. This man, he's playing better. I mean, now he has 8 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, which isn't spectacular, but it's definitely a bounce back season. And one more thing that I will like to mention really quickly as we speak about Zach Wilson, he was missing his top 3 wide receivers, Jamison Crowder. He was missing Corey Davis. He was missing, who else was he missing there? There's one more. Oh, Elijah Moore. And on top of that, he also missed Mekhi Becton, our center, Connor McGovern, and George Fant is out for the season now, who's having an extraordinary season. I think, honestly, my favorite pickup by Joe Douglas in free agency, simply just because of how dominant this guy is. I mean, he's playing like one of the best tackles in the league. And I just saw a stat the other day to prove it. So for Zach Wilson to have Braxton Berrios as his number 1 wide receiver, and that's not me dissing him because I really love me some Braxton Berrios. This
Berrios going off.
This guy needs to be re-signed. He's electric. He's such a Swiss Army knife. He really reminds me of a Julian Edelman, and it's ironic because we actually picked him up off of the waivers from New England, and he was undrafted. He's 26 years old. This guy he's a dog. I mean, great. He's not afraid to get rocked. He's not afraid to get hit. If you throw that ball to him, he's going to catch it, knowing that a safety is about to just hit him right across the face. And I love that. I love that play style. And Mike LaFleur, I mean, let's talk about Mike LaFleur. I think his play calling is just getting better and better and better and better. And the way that he's been playing that offense, it's very complicated, West Coast driven. I love it. The Jets, I mean, I'm used to Adam Gase. I'm used to garbage offense. I'm used to my defense being good and my offense being vanilla. But I love what I'm seeing. I like the fact that he's missing all of these weapons and the protection, and that really shows that our OC is allowing to help him because, like I said, no interceptions. He really played a very calm, collective game. He seemed like Matt LaFleur was putting him in good situations. Now, I got a question for you, Jared. I want to get it right to the point. So the 2-point conversion with Robert Saleh, if you're him, are you going to do that? Or what do you think? Was that questionable? Let's start with the 2-point conversion. What do you think about the 2-point conversion? The score is 20-24, 2 minutes left. Tampa Bay is out of their timeouts. What do you think?
I think you have to, go for it. Nothing really to lose as, this team. You're, 4-11, and you just want to see what you're made of at this point in the season. The Ravens, we've seen the Ravens go for a 2 twice and fail. And they're going to be missing the playoffs because of that, most likely. I think they're already eliminated. Yeah. So let's see if they go into overtime to win those games. They could be potentially in the playoffs right now. So it's just, but this is a different situation. The Jets, they're not going anywhere. So I like it. It shows that you're competing and you want to win in a way, and not just taking the 1 point. You want to, get them out of the range to come back. But hey, Brady had to, drop 410 yards to beat the Jets. And, this is to put your point in perspective. The 2 wide receivers starting for the Jets were Keelan Cole and Jeff Smith. So just, I feel like it was very impressive by the Jets here. Very impressive.
Most definitely. I love how you said that 400 plus yards for the GOAT to beat the green and white. Now, I agree with you. I think at that point, you have to go for 2. We were steamrolling. Our offense was thriving. Everything looked correct.
And
now,
momentum too. Yeah,
exactly. The momentum. And also, Tom Brady leads the NFL in fourth quarter comebacks. I believe it's 60 plus fourth quarter comebacks. And that is absolutely insane. So I think what was going on in Robert Saleh's mind was it's let's go for the jugular. Let's win this game. If we get this touchdown here, it's over. And quite frankly speaking, he would have been correct, because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were able to steamroll down and get a touchdown. So that touchdown was almost inevitable. We knew that Tom Brady was going to score. So why not keep him on the sideline, and why not go for the conversion? But here's the problem. The Jets would then do a QB sneak on a 4th and 2. And I've actually done my research, because when I saw that play call happen, I was like, what? Because why would you do a QB sneak on a 4th and 2? Traditionally, it's 4th and inches, 4th and 1.
Mm-hmm.
And
Wilson's not even that big of a guy. Like you see,
and Wilson's not even that big of a guy. And this is the Bucks D-line. Remember that? Some big boys up there. Oh, yeah. Some big boys up there. So, but Jared, I actually did my research, and that was a miscommunication. That was strictly a miscommunication. It was supposed to be a hitch route to Braxton Berrios, and that would have worked perfectly, because as you saw, Todd Bowles decided to pinch the line. Everyone started to pack the inside, and the call was not able to get to Wilson, and Wilson just improvised, and he took it on him. He even took responsibility for it, which I love to see. You want to see your young quarterback take responsibility. That's what you want to see, because he is the leader. He is the commander, and you don't want to see the rook point fingers. And I think, listen, win or loss, it's a win in my mind, because if you, as a Jets fan, can gain the GOAT's respect, and that's a win. Like, if you're seeing Tom Brady parade and freak out and get hyped up, like if you won the Super Bowl because he gets a last second drive, that's a win. If I earn his respect, that's a win. We shouldn't have been competing in this game. This is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is the Tampa Bay. Yeah. So like, I can't even complain. And we get better draft compensation. Zach Wilson wins the turnover battle. And we literally held the Super Bowl defending champs all the way up into a last minute drive. So I'm happy. It's okay. We're going to dust it off. And I think it's a huge momentum piece going forward.
Unfortunately, no one's talking about the Jets, though, because there was one particular individual who stole the headlines, stole social media.
Oh, a lot of money.
Our guy, Antonio Brown. We were hyped for him when he got his ring with the Bucks. We were applauding him, and the vaccine card thing. He made a mistake. He came back Chris Godwin out for the season, needed him, but he doesn't look like he'll be a Buck going forward. Hasn't been officially released, but the
No, he's
memes were
officially.
great.
No, he's gone. I mean, Bruce said he's gone, but
Bruce said it. Bruce says Adam Schefter said he's not on the waiver list yet. So we'll have to see when they'll officially do that. But I mean, he said he was he didn't want to come in because he felt too hurt to do it. But I want to hear your reaction first, Brendan. Let me hear your first reaction when you saw it.
What's my first reaction? All right, so I'm watching this with my family, and all of a sudden we just see this man in the end zone, half naked, and I didn't see his body. I just saw like the back profile, and I saw that it was bizarre, and instantly Antonio Brown. Like I said to my mom and my dad, I was like Antonio Brown. Like all I had to see was, we knew that the camera shot was capturing it before the commentators were able to analyze it, but I just saw the crazy behavior. I'm like Antonio Brown, and then a couple seconds later, I hear Antonio Brown. Like the announcer's just like, "What is going on?" and I'm thinking to myself, I'm just like, "Wait, what?" Like the Jets literally just ended his career. Like the Jets are up 2 touchdowns, 24-10 at the time, and he just seems. He was tweaking. The man was tweaking. And I immediately said, he hypes up the crowd. He's trying to get everyone just to mess with him. He's throwing his stuff in the crowd, and then he just says goodbye. Pieces, gives the crowd the deuces, and he walks in the locker room, goes along his merry way. And Tom Brady, I mean, can you believe that the man still won that game? Like, he kept his poise, class.
He doesn't let any distractions, get to him.
Ridiculous.
My initial reaction was when the camera panned, I thought it was like a fan or something, just dancing in the end zone. And you realize he's wearing football pants, he's got cleats, and he's got a specific hairstyle. So, Antonio Brown, it was honestly quite shocking. And I know he came out and said he was too injured to play, he felt like, but like, man was doing jumping jacks in the end zone. Like, what was hurt about you to get you that animated, And like, if it was a hamstring, you seemed fine running to the locker room, like, honestly. And I don't know the full details, but like, it sure didn't look like he was hurt. It just looked like, what it seemed like to me is like you're at a supermarket and someone like stands up on the register, because the whole speech about either how they're quitting, how they're gonna move to out west, and everyone like applauds at the end. I feel like he just wanted attention there, and it just wasn't a great look for him. And I'm gonna ask you a question. Do you think that's the last game we'll see Antonio Brown be in?
Absolutely. Yes. Positively. Yes. That is the last game we're gonna see him. Absolutely positively. I remember as soon as I saw him do this shenanigans, I said to my dad, I was like, Dad, he's gonna get cut after the game. Like, he's gonna get cut. What happened? He got cut. Look, this game is a game of respect. It's a game of dignity. It's a game of honor. And if you don't have those 3 attributes, then you're not going to play. And he's done so much. This is the 3rd strike, honestly. And to thoroughly answer your question at why I genuinely believe that it's over, I could just start with this. Now, we all know the whole Gruden dispute. We all know the Big Ben dispute. We all know. And shout out Mike Tomlin for suppressing all of this nonsense for 10 years.
Yeah.
1 second. Sorry about that. Suppressing all of this nonsense for 10 years. I mean, that's crazy. He was able to do that. And it didn't work out with Belichick, and it didn't work out with Brady. So you're talking about the 2 people who are the most demanding of respect,
who run the
and the
game
most respected
of football the past 20 years.
That won the game, that have the system. And I thought that Brady was able to do it, but he didn't. And if those 2 can't do it, then who will be able to?
I mean, that's a good point, but I don't know. I don't think he's done. He's too talented to be done. He's too talented. I mean, look, you saw what he did on the games that he was the primary target. He could do a lot for some teams. I don't want him on the Giants. I'm not saying that. Put him in another functional clubhouse, and he will produce for your team. And that's the same thing with some other guys who have been arrested for stuff. Kareem Hunt is another chance. and some other guys, even Big Ben you're talking about. He had his own allegations or whatever. So, Antonio Brown acting crazy, being a fool, it is definitely cut worthy, but I don't think it gets him, out of the league entirely. I could see the Chiefs picking him up, you know, like next year. I think he's done for the rest of the year. I'll say that. Rest of the year, no one's picking him up. But I could see the Rams picking, like, good teams will. That's the same thing that happened. That's why the Bucks got Antonio Brown. It's why, the Seahawks, and Josh Gordon keep, reuniting. Josh Gordon's now on the Chiefs now. He had so many chances too, and he's back in the NFL. So it's just, I don't think he's done yet. Same with Le'Veon Bell. There's been a lot of criticism about him, but he somehow finds a way back into the league after being cut. He's a personality as well. So these I could see Brown going to the Seahawks. Any team that, has a functional clubhouse, I think could use him as a value, as another piece of the offense, because he's just that talented.
I know he's that talented, and he's definitely the best receiver I've laid my eyes on aside from Megatron. I was a little too young to acknowledge the Megatron era, except when Revis was locking him down. But aside from that, AB is that talented, and all things may breeze over. But the way I look at it is just, like I said, football is a game of dignity, honor, and respect. And I don't think the Kansas City Chiefs want to take a chance on him because they're chasing greatness, and you don't want distractions. As soon as there's distractions, that can ruin everything. And I know that Brady was disappointed because
I'm saying at the Super Bowl last year, I remember his Andy Reid's brother, that whole drunk drive incident, that was a distraction heading up to the Super Bowl, and they ended up losing. So
yeah, distractions aren't to joke around. I mean, think about the really good organizations like the New England Patriots. Aside from Deflategate, Spygate, Aaron Hernandez. Well, okay, they had a lot of distractions, but they're the New England Patriots. But aside from that,
they find a way.
You just don't want. They find a way because they're the New England Patriots, but you just don't want that in the headlines. And
yeah,
I mean, think about it. Tampa Bay beat the Chiefs. They beat them good. AB got a touchdown. AB got his ring in that Super Bowl. I don't necessarily think. I feel like AB is just a loose cannon. Like, this guy has severe CTE, some severe issues that need to be treated. No, he needs help because that's not normal. Like, that simply was the most bizarre.
Brady says that, that's like serious.
Wait, what did Brady say?
Well, he said something along the lines of, I wish him all the best. Hope he gets the help that he needs, and whatever that he, any way possible. So, because, it has to be Antonio Brown who says, sits down and then gets help. It can't be anyone forcing him at the end of the day.
Yeah, but this is just it's serious stuff. And I think it's a headache to have him in the locker room. I don't think he understands that it's respect. You need to have respect. And if you don't have those attributes, then don't be in the locker room, because it's just pointless. And I know that he's an asset, but I think he's way too much of a distraction for these teams. And I think he has played his last game. How many strikes are you going to get? How many opportunities? I mean, there's been a lot of problems here. His helmet issue, throwing the football at Big Ben, all the sexual assault allegations he's had, frostbite on his toe. I don't even know how he had frostbite on his toe. That's a question for another time.
Yeah, I mean, AB stole the headlines from your Jets, and I guess you wish him the best of luck going forward. Hope he gets his help, as many people have been saying. And yeah, I mean, that's all I gotta say on Antonio Brown. Anything else?
No, I think we're good.
Okay, so moving on now to my New York Giants. Not really much to talk about other than, we suck. We negative 10 yards passing, for the whole game. Are you kidding me? I mean, look, Daniel Jones wearing his shirt right now. He's hurt. I get that. But we have weapons in place. we have Saquon Barkley, we have Kenny Galladay, we have Evan Ingram, we have guys on the field who are better than most, like the Bears team, for them to go out and really score on us that much. I thought it was going to be way more competitive. It's the Bears. It just shows how bottom of the league we are. And I know that ownership, that there's been reports that we're gonna fire Gettleman, gonna get a new GM, but we want to keep Joe Judge. And I was on that train for that's for a majority of the season. Like I like Judge. I was like, it's not his fault that we're hurt. It's not his fault that Saquon Barkley's not himself anymore. That we keep getting injuries, but looking at it now, he just goes off in 10-minute rant and at the end of the game and saying that that's just football. We can't like we can't get all the completions. We get sacked. He just said that's just football. So I think Joe Judge is going to be gone now too, unfortunately. And I think that I don't know who the answer is. If New York is even an attractive, spot, since we've been losing so badly the past couple seasons. And we're just gonna be I think we're gonna be in a rebuild next year too, unfortunately. Brendan, thoughts about the Giants?
That was a despicable loss against the Bears, 29-3, getting the hinges blown off, the doors, everything. Mike Glennon, 4 fumbles. I mean, how many times are you going to drop the ball? And I just think it's your play calling, because there's so many players around you. I think you have more depth than the Jets do on the offensive side of the ball, and I confidently can say that.
You would think.
I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, if they're coached correctly, I mean, I feel like you have more talent. I think our line's a little better. I think our players have been having a better season, but heading into this season, there's no argument to that.
Mm-hmm.
So my point being is that I blame the coaches here. I don't blame the players. I blame the coaches. I think it's an absolute shit show right now. And I think that the Giants they've hit like Jets, like floor. Like, I feel like this is like a Jets year, and that's bad. And I totally, you know what I'm talking about? Like, it reminds me of like a Gase era, not as bad as the Gase era, but
it's
similar to it.
Comparable. It's comparable, I would say. Like just the headlines of the coaching. Like, you don't want your coach to be in the bad media spotlight, and he has been. And I'm looking at the stats right now for this game, and it's quite atrocious. Pretty bad. Glennon, we all know, man had 24 yards on 11 attempts and fumbled 4 times, lost it twice. Barkley, I want to shout out though, over 100 yards rushing. First time he's done that all season. Hopefully that momentum for him next year, because we're going to need him next year for sure. Because next year will be Daniel Jones's make it or break it season. But honestly, we have the Bears pick next year, so this game didn't really matter that much for our draft positioning. And we didn't even get beat by the guy who they drafted with our pick, Justin Fields, got beat by Andy Dalton. So it's just interesting to me. The Bears have their own issues too with Matt Nagy, and I'm pretty sure people want him fired as well, because he's been in the media as well. So these Giants have just been overall disappointing.
Yeah, how do you only have 24 points? Or I'm sorry, let me say this again. How do you only have 24 yards? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Like the whole game.
That's terrible. And this is against the Bears. I mean, just like a 5-11 team too. This is like a game that you should win. I mean, the Jets are out here competing with we beat the Titans this year. We beat the Bengals. Joe Burrow is having a historic season. It's just, I'm telling you, I blame the coaches here. I blame Judge.
Brady
I don't like
Kitchens.
Judge. I want
We
him
have to.
gone.
We need
Freddie
a
Kitchens
whole.
too.
We need a whole like just rebranding of this team. To be honest, like starts at the top, and then we just need someone to tell us how to play football again and actually use the guys. Kenny Galladay. Let me talk about him. We give him a 4-year, $72 million deal. And the most yards he's had this season was 116, and that's Saints win. Other than that, it goes all the way down to 64 in the first game of the season. And again, against Atlanta, 64. So he's not being utilized enough. Our number one receiver, he is not being utilized enough. He gets around, at the most which he's been targeted this season is 8 times. And even Antonio Brown has a game that he's been targeted 13 times. And this guy averages, he's been averaging 17, 12, 19 yards per catch, per reception. He's a good player. And he's just not getting it, not giving him the ball. He has 449 total yards this year in 13 games. In 5 games with Detroit last year, he had 338. So it's just mind-boggling to me how we're not utilizing our offensive skill positions.
And he was a dog in Detroit. He was Matthew Stafford's best friend. He helped Matthew Stafford get through the dog days there. And we're talking about the Detroit Lions.
He helped Matthew Stafford get to LA, honestly.
Yeah, he did. And we're talking about the Detroit Lions, probably the worst franchise in the NFL. So if this team was able to make those numbers leap and jump, but the Giants can't, I think that says it all. And I really do believe Judge needs to go. As soon as I saw his quarterback be on the bottom of a dog pile, as soon as I saw people openly yell at him, and there's so many fights, when there's so many fights, like that just says enough. And if it was the Jets, if this happened with the Jets, of course, the New York media crowns the Giants. And I know you're probably going through some hard stuff, and I haven't been following the New York media that much with the Giants. I'm sure it's not good because I know New York media is not bad. It's bad. I'm sorry. But if this whole season was during the Jet, oh my God, it would be terrible. We would be clowning, lost the locker room of respect, the respect in the locker room. It would be terrible. And it's just that bad. And I noticed that it was that bad. And I think that the production is reflecting it. And I mean, Freddie Kitchens had a game playing against them, a game that he should have had a decent chance to win against. You had plenty of time to prepare for it. You have your weapons around you. And if I am the New York Giants, I agree. You need a rebranding. And I think that you need to do it. You need to tear it all down. You need to trade Saquon, get whatever you can for Saquon. I would probably cut. I'm being so serious right now. I would cut Kenny Galladay. I'd save the cap money. I would trade dude. I'd keep Shep as a mentor.
You can't do this to me. I think it's the Shep's fifth year.
Well, then franchise tag him an extra year. I'm keeping him as a mentor because he's a good player. He deserves to be there. He's who you want. That's a good role model for the future. You get rid of Judge. You get rid of your GM that has screwed you guys over for forever now. But the problem is will your owner do this? Seems like he likes Daniel Jones. They've came out and they said that Daniel Jones is our quarterback going forward. Will your owner do this? I think it starts with ownership here. I don't know if they got lazy because you guys were being the GOATs. Like you guys had a great team.
We had a good run.
I don't know if he got lazy or started caring about something else, but the Giants are not doing good.
I don't want to become the next Lions or the next Jets where we stink for 10 years. If we stink one more season and after that we turn around, I'll be happy with that. But I don't want to stink for another 3 seasons. I think we are being forced to keep Daniel Jones another year solely based on the not that highly regarded QB class. Even though we have 2 picks in the top 10, like the Jets, we're both going to have 2 picks in the top 10. There's not really a quarterback, I think, worth, putting the assets in, that's going to be better than Daniel Jones, really. and we might have to make another trade to get another first round pick next year. I think that would be smart to like package one of those picks and try to get a first next year. Train Barkley, that's another discussion to have. I don't know where I stand on that because he's a face. I have his jersey, but he's also a very hyped, underperforming running back. But we do have all this money coming in Kenny Galladay, so don't we have to try to compete? That's that's what's the questions that the front office will have to decide, and probably the new GM will have to decide after the season. And I don't know the candidates yet. I don't know who the managerial candidates will be. There's going to be the Raiders position open, the Jags position open, and I'm sure the Bears will and the Panthers positions will be open as well. So there's going to be a lot of managerial spots. But right now the Giants are just unwatchable TV. And that was not the case last year when they were supposed to be worse.
The way that I look at it is I think you bring up a very interesting point here about I don't really like the quarterbacks in this class. I don't think any of them are going to be better than Daniel Jones, and I think you might be onto something there. Although that I do think that at least one of them will boom. I think one of them will hit. I'm not sure which one it is. I'm fortunate. I don't have to look at quarterbacks this year. So I get the pass for that. Thank God. But for the Giants, I mean, the way that I see this, I think history repeats itself. And I see that this class, your situation, your debacle that you're in, reminds me of that whole 2018 draft. You're the second overall pick, and that whole debate that happened there when you took Saquon second overall. And you could have had Lamar, you could have had Josh Allen, you could have had those two quarterbacks. I think that debacle is what's reminding me at. And you took the guy that killed the combine, the guy that went to Penn State, put on a great tape, and you took him because you wanted to keep Eli. And did that work out? No, it didn't. It did not at all. The right decision then should have been, okay, Eli, thank you for your 2 Super Bowls. Let's retire you in good old fashion. Let's take our franchise quarterback with the second overall pick.
I mean, I think whatever the Giants did would have been criticized. Let's say instead of Barkley, they picked Sam Darnold. I mean, I feel like that would be even worse, to be honest.
I mean,
I don't know who they would have picked,
yeah,
with the second, but it's just disappointing.
No, yeah. What I'm trying to say here is that I don't see you guys taking accountability. All right. And that's a scary thing. I don't see you guys taking accountability. We finally saw that with Woody Johnson and Chris Johnson. Finally, when they hired Robert Saleh and then they hired Joe Douglas, he literally said, you have the keys. You're in the pilot seat. I'm not in control of this anymore. And that's what scares me. That's what bad ownerships are. When you are literally doing what you have to do and you're doing it on your own behalf, that's when we need accountability from this team. And one last thing, when it comes to Daniel Jones in this situation, why do we think that if we're going to do a rebuild, why do we think that this guy is going to survive that? If we're not going to, you know what I'm saying? Why do we have the statistics to keep him? Because he's a question mark right now. He hasn't proven anything. We've shown him, we've given him Kenny Galladay. We've done what you already tried that. And that's why I personally think that you guys should just strip it, start over, start fresh, and maybe draft a quarterback and then get your quarterback on the same timeline with your general manager, with your new head coach. Change the culture now. Because if you're what we did, it has to be on the same page. Because if you keep Daniel Jones, as good of a point that you have, because I know that he was playing good this year, and I know that it sucks to say goodbye to a kid that showed a lot of promise and did play pretty good. He won some good games. He has a lot to like, but I just see yourself putting yourself in a future dilemma later on and that's what I'm kind of worried for this team.
No, I totally see that point. Going into the year, I like this team a lot, so much so that I had them winning the division, which I hate to admit, but that gets us right into our playoff. Looking back at our playoff predictions with 1 week left in the season, most teams already clinched. I have our teams right here, and I'm just gonna say, What you picked? What you picked? And let me see your reaction. So, Cowboys, you had winning the NFC East. Good job. That was the probably the correct pick on my part. I picked the Giants. We both had the Packers, NFC North. They're gonna be number 1 seed. They've been looking good. So that's a win for us. Both had the Bucks winning the South. That was good on us. And we had the Rams win the West. Also good on us. Even though that Cardinals went on that run, the Rams still took it at the end of the day. And then this is where it gets interesting with our NFC wildcard picks. Brendan, you had the Seahawks, Cardinals, and Saints. And, we all know how controversial me not including the Seahawks were. But I had the Cardinals, 49ers, and the Bears, who didn't end up being that good this year. So first off, what do you think about your wild card picks with the Seahawks, Cardinals, and Saints?
Well, I think I missed 2 there. So I missed the Seahawks and I missed the Saints.
The Saints
So
still have a shot, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, they still have a shot. So I'm not that far off with the Saints. I'm pretty much like on the money there. But with the Seahawks, that's where you were right and I was wrong. And you stuck to your gut about Pete. You believed the rumors. You could tell that Russ was frustrated. You just didn't believe that they were going to continue to chase greatness. And you saw it coming from a mile away. I personally just wanted to go with the clean cut Russell Wilson. I mean, he was in contention for MVP last season. He played lights out. And I just didn't think that this team would be where they are. 5 wins at this point. Obviously, this is what I'd want, right? This is exactly what I want because I'm a Jets fan and I have their pick. But I don't know, man. This was a complete fluke season, and kudos to you for getting that prediction. I think that's a very fine prediction on your end. And I don't know, maybe we should have Noah on the pod sometime. Maybe he can tell us what happened truly. But
yeah, exactly.
I'm just surprised that this happened. I mean, haven't missed the playoffs in quite some time, and I just went with history in the most past recent of years, and I was wrong.
I like how we both believed in the Cardinals this year, and they really proved it. And we both had 2 for our wild card picks, 2 like ones I totally flunked, being the Seahawks and me the Bears. The Bears, the coaching didn't work out. I mean, Allen Robinson wasn't the same guy. Darnell Mooney's been proving that he's a really good receiver. Just Andy Dalton and Justin Fields flip-flopping back and forth through the whole year probably didn't help his development that much. And the injuries, Montgomery went down for a while, no Tariq Cohen. So, the Bears, I think they'll bounce back a little next year. They've been in the playoff hunt in the past couple seasons. But I like that we have another wild card pick. There are the 2 teams left to make it to clinch a berth. Those are the 49ers and the Saints. The 49ers, they have the Texans, and the Saints have the Panthers. So what do you think is going to happen?
I could see the Texans beating the Saints. I mean, the Texans are playing good football right now. I mean, didn't they beat the Chargers? Yeah, they
beat the Chargers by a lot.
So, I mean, and the Saints are just who's home in that game? Do we know?
I do not know, actually. Let me put it up right now. The Saints play are away. Oh, the schedule is wrong. They played them last week. I forgot. This isn't updated yet. So scratch that. The Saints play the Falcons in Atlanta, and the 49ers are at the Rams in LA.
Yeah, I think that answers the question here. I think that the Saints will make the playoffs. And that's just I mean, the 49ers, Garoppolo is having a good year. We can start with that. He's playing good. And I think the Saints have a better chance to win that game. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go with you with that one too, because the Rams, they're not gonna just let up. They have a chance to win the division. It's not locked up yet with the Cardinals. I misspoke before. It's not locked up yet. It's not clinched yet, the Rams. So they have to win that division spot. So I think the 49ers, they're gonna they're gonna get dogged, even though, and I'm pretty sure there was a Monday Night Football game. The Niners came out, and that's when Matt Stafford had like 2 interceptions in a matter of like 10 seconds. I don't know if you remember that, but I think the Saints, looking at this, have a much better shot.
Agreed.
And let's talk about the Eagles a little bit. I'm surprised they made it. I am did not see that coming. The Giants even beat them this year. They're kind of I saw people calling them a fluke team because their wins aren't really that impressive. But hey, they made it, and they have as much of a chance as anyone else when playoffs come. So the Eagles did what the Giants couldn't, which was win games that they needed to win, and and I give them props for that. They won as a football team, a much needed win. Jalen Hurts balled. Jalen Hurts, Devonta Smith, they're a good duo together, and their defense is holding up pretty well with Darius Slay. So they came back after a terrible season last year and made the playoffs.
Yeah, and shout out Nick Sirianni, the guy that was being clowned in the media for his interview, his first post press conference, because he was dealing with some anxiety and just wasn't acclimated to that setting. So good for him being able to rebound from that criticism and lead his team to the playoffs, first time being a head coach. Congratulations to him. That's amazing. And I know it's hard to watch a divisional team do well, right? 9-7. We didn't think that this was going to be that competitive. I thought it was going to be the NFC least. I mean,
yeah, I think we both had one team making it out of the division. But it proved, the football team was in it for a while until they faded away with their COVID and injury. And if they had Ryan Fitzpatrick, I think it might be a different season, to be honest. But yeah, the Eagles, they some teams have been eliminated already, like the Falcons, the Vikings, teams that the Seahawks, the Panthers, teams that possibly could compete. They bested them this season, so kudos to them. Moving on to the AFC, we both had the Bills winning the division. That is not a lock yet because the Patriots came out of nowhere this season and really showed that they're not rebuilding. We're just gonna keep doing the Patriot way. Neither of us had the Patriots in our predictions, so that's unfortunate. They clinched a playoff spot. AFC North both had the Ravens. Now the Ravens, they're on the bubble still. They haven't been officially eliminated yet, but they have a tall task ahead of them. They need a lot of moving parts. And this in the AFC South, we both had the Titans. That was pretty good. They're clinched the number one. They're not the number one seed yet, but they're at top right now. And even without Derrick Henry, they continue to win, even though they lost some. I'm pretty sure they lost to the Jags? Someone bad. To the Jets. They lost to the Jets at one point. And then AFC West, we had the Chiefs. That was pretty obvious, even with the rocky start. And our wild card, so it's interesting. We both had the Browns, who were officially eliminated last night again in Big Ben's final game at home. And you had the Steelers, who are still in the hunt, and the Chargers, who are still in the hunt for the wild card. And I had the Colts and the Chargers in my final wild card spots. So Colts or Chargers. I like how NFL set it up. I don't know if they saw, but they put the Chargers and Raiders game on Sunday Night Football, and I'm pretty sure the winner of that makes it to the playoffs. Brendan, thoughts about your wild card picks?
I think I did pretty well. I mean, wait, did I have I had the Ravens win the division, right?
Yeah, the Ravens. We both had the Ravens win division,
And we
and
were wrong with that. Yeah.
I feel like nothing wrong with that pick. Lamar got hurt. And I feel like if he's healthy, they probably win 1 or 2 more games.
Yeah, so therefore,
and the team
right.
the team we didn't see they came out of nowhere as well was the Bengals. What a season they have shown. They beat the Chiefs last week. Just a dangerous team.
So overall, I mean, I think that I'm pretty satisfied with it. I kind of scratched the Colts, right? Or
Yeah,
I didn't.
you didn't have faith in Carson Wentz, but we were not expecting Jonathan Taylor to have an MVP caliber season at running back.
Yeah, he went
So he's kind
crazy.
of getting carried a little bit, just a little bit. We'll see how that works in the playoffs. I would love for Derrick Henry to come back and have a Josh Taylor versus Derrick Henry game. That would be fun to watch. But we both had the Chargers, who, they had that crucial loss to the Texans. They're still in the hunt. If the season ended today, they would make it. So it's just gonna be. Definitely gonna be watching this weekend. I mean, the way it's set up, the games, there's the potential that, as I was saying, that Chargers Raiders game, there's a potential that whoever wins that is going to make the playoffs, and that's going to be a bloodbath of a game. Everyone's going to be trying very hard. It would be cool to see the Raiders in the playoffs, but I like the Chargers better. I like Justin Herbert, and imagine right now the Chargers are set up as a 7th seed, and they would face the number 2 seed, the Chiefs, right now. That would be a nice. The Chiefs could have a chance to lose that first round. The Chargers are dangerous. I feel like, I would take the Chargers over the Colts, Patriots, maybe even the Bengals, honestly, just because of Herbert, Eckler, and the defense with Derwin James, and they have weapons on offense. So I'm pretty high on the Chargers. I feel like if they make it, they're going to be dangerous.
Also, do you have our coach of the year like written down?
Ooh, the awards of the year from
Yeah, do you can you access that right now or no?
right now. I don't think I got it. Do you have yours?
I think I said Kingsbury, either Kingsbury or the Chargers head
Oh, I
coach. It was either
was.
or of those two.
I remember my MVP pick. I think I had Lamar MVP or Baker Mayfield. So
No, you said Baker, yeah.
I was high on the Browns this year, and that was to prove to be another bad take of mine. But I will own up to it. And I mean, no one saw. I mean, people saw the Browns. It's the Browns. What am I talking about? I shouldn't have been so high on the Browns. Odell left. Is that Odell's or Baker's fault? We'll see. Baker, I mean, he did pretty bad last night again on Monday Football. It's gonna be interesting to see what the Browns do. I don't think they get rid of him, obviously, because he has that potential. But yeah, I think one day we need to like rank the starting quarterbacks in the NFL. I feel that'd be interesting because I've seen memes about Baker not being a top 25 quarterback. And I don't
Probably
know if I
isn't.
should, and I
Maybe.
don't know if I believe that or not. We'll have to see. We should definitely do that one day. And I mean, anything else you want to add?
Yeah, we definitely should do that. And Kyler, I mean, I love Kyler. I didn't pick him. I picked Josh Allen, but
Mm,
Kyler had an amazing season. He was like my runner up for MVP, and I don't think he's gonna get
I
it
think
this year. I think
Rodgers
it's gonna go to
has it.
Rodgers. Yeah.
Yeah, Rodgers is gonna take it. It's another impressive year, last dance type of season. I wouldn't be surprised if the Packers win it all. I mean, I wouldn't. They've been playing. Devontae Adams is just so good. Like I swear he averages 20 points in fantasy a week. Like he's insane.
You still think it's gonna be Chiefs, Bucks?
I don't think so anymore. A lot of things have happened. Um, I don't think either. I'm saying right now, I don't think either Chiefs or Bucks make the Super Bowl.
Imagine if it was like Bengals, Packers.
I mean,
Like
I
imagine if
think
Jamar Chase goes crazy in the postseason and like carries his way into the Super Bowl. Joe Burrow right back in the spotlight, going up against
it's
Aaron
gonna be
Rodgers, finally getting past the
yeah,
NFC Championship game.
yeah, yeah. I think we'll when the next week we'll give our bracket. We'll do a bracket because it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy, and it really depends what the seeding is because the Chiefs have to play the Chargers first. I might have to bounce the Chiefs out first round. I don't know. I don't know. I just might have to. We'll see though.
Thank you guys for listening to episode 42 of the NYFlyZone
Episode
podcast.
42.
Please make sure to share to all your friends. Listen to us on Apple Music, Spotify, Google Podcasts, all
anywhere
of the above.
You get your podcast. We're even on YouTube now. Check out the visual pod where you could see my mustache. I had to shave the beard, part of it. So if you're interested in that, you can check that out. And stay along 2022. Happy New Year. Stay safe out there. Football is a great sport. And thanks for listening.
Peace.
Peace.